There we go. All right, I'm in now. My apologies. My apologies for oh, feedback. There we go. My apologies for being late. I know I am like 14 minutes late. No, way more than that. 30 minutes late. Man, I had the hiccups. I had the hiccups for like 2 hours, two and a half. I don't know how to, control my hiccups. When they come, they come. And so, it started around like seven. Shoot, yeah, it probably was like 3 hours. It started around like 7:30, and went all the way to about 10:30 ish. It just stopped. So there was no way I could go live with battling that. I went on a run, I went on a walk. Usually what helps is like cardio and stuff like that. But like I was kind of pissed off because I cannot stand getting the hiccups because I know for me personally, they don't go away for a very long time. So I'm sorry that I was late. That was definitely why. But I appreciate the ones that have been waiting around since we are 30 minutes late. And I do appreciate it. And this is the first episode back since vacation. So I definitely appreciate, holding it down. It's been a lot of things that's going on that's been crazy, especially on X. X is very toxic. I just started on X not too long ago, and it is different. But a lot of things have happened, especially while I was on vacation. But vacation was cool. Um, I guess glad to be back because I definitely was like, man, I miss getting on live and chopping it up with my yapper community. So definitely missed everybody, but definitely enjoyed that vacation at the same time. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you sub to the channel if you new. While we were on vacation, we hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I definitely appreciate all the support as we were, started this YouTube journey, uh kind of like rebranded in a way starting in January. Started YouTube in general back in 2020, but shut it down just because everything was going on, crazy stuff going on in life, career changes, kids, all that. It's craziness. Beautiful things, but a lot of adjusting. So shut my YouTube channel down for a while and then end up launching it back. I never I just deactivated. I didn't delete it. And ended up taking everybody's, opinions and suggestions into consideration for like the 2026 kind of like New Year's resolution. So people like to say, I'm gonna go to the gym and get right, get my body right, all that stuff. And mine was committing to YouTube space. A lot of people have been saying that all last year. They were saying that I was really, you know, procrastinating, but wanted to commit to it. And I think this has definitely been an amazing journey so far. And I think over since January, it's been like 2 or 3 thousand subscribers. So it says 20,000 now, but I had 17,000 for 4 or 5 years. So it kind of looks a little weird, but I still appreciate it because that is still a great um kind of like growth in a way in these 4 months. So definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate all the support. Now we on the road to 21K, 21,000. And let's do it, man. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a big year in general for the podcast, YouTube, content creators. I think it's going to be a big year, even though we've been set back with a lot of different hurdles because of the censorship. Like TikTok is very different now. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit. It's kind of frustrating, but I think it's going to be a big year. Content is just nonstop coming and going. It's always something to talk about. But let's get into some of the things that we're going to talk about today. There have been a lot of things that I missed over the weekend. But some of the biggest things that I would say, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say big things. What I wanted to talk about at least is Candace mentioned yesterday about Tyler Robinson's grandfather mentioning in a courtroom that his son, he feels like his grandson is being framed. And, Tyler Robinson's granddad is the one who passed down the alleged murder weapon, because it was a family rifle. So the grandfather passed it down to Tyler. So that is a very important person saying, he also said that he knows what a 30-06 can do, and what they're saying ain't it. So that is very, very important and very detrimental to the original narrative. What will happen from that? My guess, probably nothing. There have been a lot of things that have been, I don't know, brought up that you would think, would question certain people. The feds would care, police would care, but nobody has cared. People lie about alibis. That should really just do it. Somebody should be brought in for questioning once they start lying about where they were. But apparently that hasn't triggered any red flags for the feds, which we know the feds are in on it. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't know where this is going to go. I battle back and forth every single day of just like trying to figure out the bright side. Do I see the light at the end of the tunnel? I want to say I do. I really do. I want to say I do. I want to hope so. But sometimes it's challenging just because of how many things that are like so evident. And it just seems like some of these people just don't care. The feds don't care because they're in on it. So it's like, what do you do? How can we even, where do we go from there when the people that are supposed to care are in on it? I think it's a sad place, where we are right now in this world, in this country. I ain't gonna say this world, but in this country, it's kind of like a sad place because the people who are supposed to be protecting us and we're supposed to be put first, they're in on the dirty crimes. They're in on taking out their own citizens. So, I don't know. It's you can get into a dark place when you start thinking like that. So I actually enjoyed my vacation because I got to kind of get away from that thought process. But we're going to talk about Tyler Robinson's granddad and what he said. And I also want to get back to the Tyler Robinson's, his timeline and where he was at after the Big Bang, because a lot of details have unfolded, and I might be able to get Barron's YouTube video pulled up, his reference, his source, because we found out that Tyler Robinson stopped at a car wash after the Big Bang. And I've been working on this Tyler Robinson timeline just to trying to figure out like where he was at, and after the Big Bang, because they're saying all types of stuff. So we're gonna get to all of that. But again, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're on a road to 21,000 subs. I appreciate all the support along the way as well. Yes, welcome. I appreciate y'all joining. I really do. I enjoy YouTube way more than TikTok. Long form content is on its way back. It's working its way back into the mix. Short form content kind of took over for a couple of years. I think COVID happened and short form content kind of took over. Everybody was just used to holding their phones up and looking at stuff that way. 10-second, minute videos, 30-second videos, and long form content really went out the door. TikTok was paying good, so it was hard to beat. But I think it's the trend in this country always seems to like go backwards. Like we go forward in the years, but the old trends always come back. We used to wear baggy clothes when back in my day, at least. And the older I got, the clothes started getting shorter and shorter. People used to call you lame for wearing baggy clothes back in the 2016 to 2020 days. If you had baggy clothes, you was kind of lame for real. But now, if the fashion is baggy clothes, the designer is baggy clothes. So it's weird. And I think that it's starting to happen with the content world. We're going backwards now. So at first it was, streaming platforms, and everybody had these different apps to watch different streaming services. But now everybody's fed up of the streaming services. They don't want to have 10 apps to watch their favorite shows. So people are starting to revert back to, I wouldn't say cable all the way, but they're starting to cut those apps off and lock in on maybe one or two, or maybe just shutting off all apps in general and finding that one illegal app that has everything in total. And I think the same thing is happening with YouTube. TikTok is now trash. If we just want to be completely honest, they don't pay no more, nor do their, the algorithm is also not the same anymore either. So people are reverting back to YouTube because YouTube hasn't really changed. So it's an interesting thing trying to keep up with it all. But, I guess that's just part of the job. You kind of just got to stay on top of it, and you got to adjust and adapt. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with TikTok, is adjusting and adapting to what you can say or do. Because at the end of the day, it pays, you know what I mean? So you kind of can't complain for too long. Got to keep it going. But without further ado, let's get into it. Hopefully I was able to stall as long as I could, so that way I don't get banned for saying certain words now, because you kind of got to wait a little bit before you just jump right into it. Same as TikTok. Can't really say too much too early. But I want to get into Tyler Robinson, his granddad, and what he said in the courtroom. For the ones that don't know, there have been quite a few people that have been going to these hearings, I believe they're called. I am not an expert in the judicial world, the court system, all of that. Not an expert. I will never pretend like I am. I just enjoy commentating on things in my own way. But people have been going to these Tyler Robinson appearances in court, and they have been talking to the family. And it's very interesting on what the family says about their grandson, their son, whoever's in there. But we now know that this is the grandfather that is speaking, because they're defending him. They are saying that, we've heard before that only 2% of what the media is saying about Tyler Robinson is correct. Everything else is up in the air. 2% is a very strong percentage to say that 98% of what they're saying about Tyler Robinson is wrong. That is crazy. And now we're hearing Tyler Robinson's granddad say the gun does not cause that type of damage. Why? Because it used to be his gun. He knows what a 30-06 would do. And he feels like they are framing his grandson. They don't believe the Fed Slop. That is very detrimental to the original narrative. Blake Neff has gone on record plenty of times saying one of the reasons he knows that Tyler Robinson is guilty, and why we should all believe that he's guilty, is because his parents and his family have turned him in, and they're not defending him. He says that quite often, that his parents don't defend him. So shouldn't that be obvious that he's guilty, this, that, and the third? But now this is the second time in a row where his family is in a courtroom defending him. So what is Blake Neff talking about? Now, we already know that they have like a gag order against Blake Neff, so I don't even know why he's speaking to begin with. But when he does speak, it's always some foolishness. So Candace broke it down for us that I believe it was Elizabeth Lane that was in the courtroom. But I know Brandy and Billy, that's a YouTube channel. They've also been in a courtroom several times talking to Tyler Robinson's family, because it's not that many of them in that courtroom. So let's take a listen to this audio on what Tyler Robinson's granddad said about Tyler, because I thought this was very, very, very interesting to me. And I mean, obviously it should be to everyone, but I definitely found this as a case shatterer.
Some have a stash of savings.
Oh, they did? A credit card or?
This was nice.
Yeah. What are you guys for Tyler? What are you for Tyler or the other side?
Grandparents.
Oh, your grandparents?
Oh, I'm really sorry you're going through this.
Yeah, it's tough for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks. But we're here to support them.
Yeah, we think your grandchild is absolutely brave, but I'm an investigative journalist, so
Well, I see. I'm a hunter, and I know what 30-6 you do.
I'm a hunter.
Well, I see. I'm a hunter.
I'm a hunter, and I know what a 30-6 would do. That's his granddad. That is somebody that used to have the rifle, that used to use the rifle that Tyler Robinson allegedly used. So he knows his gun. And he's saying, I'm a hunter, and I know what a 30-6 would do. So hearing this information, and I'll let the rest play out. That was most of it. He's also going to say some things about ballistics. Hearing that information, I really don't understand how anybody in Turning Point USA, you know, obviously I'm biased, so I think they're all in on it. But Turning Point USA, Erica, anybody that's been supporting them, anybody that's been saying Tyler Robinson for sure is guilty. Mountains of evidence. There's no way somebody like Brandon Tatum hears this and then thinks the grandfather's full of BS too. Because that's all they do. They gaslight, they shift blame, all types of stuff. They hear that Brandon Tatum's gonna hear this from the grandfather and say he doesn't know what he's talking about. Even though this was his gun, he used to use this gun. Brandon Tatum and other people are still gonna find a way to say he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because they tried to tell us plenty of times, oh, it was a frangible round. We don't know what type of round the 30-6 was. Could have been a frangible round. It could have been this, that, and the third. We don't know. Because the traditional 30-6 bullet, we know what that would do. So they tried to manipulate and twist the story and try to make it make sense, make the Fed slop, not slop. But it's not working. Because now the grandfather is saying himself, I know what my gun would do. And what they're saying, what happened to Charlie, that ain't it. My gun wouldn't do that.
That sucks. But we're here to support.
yeah, we think your grandchild is absolutely brilliant, but I'm an investigative journalist, so
Well, I see. I'm a hunter, and I know what 30-6 you do.
man, you know your guns. Like I can tell you that you're very right. That's why,
And
yeah,
my dad was a cop for years.
yeah.
We showed him all of this.
That's very important information too. My dad was a cop. He showed me all the ballistics. So I think we can confidently say that this is an expert at his own gun, definitely. But he's saying himself that he knows what a 30-6 would do. And whatever happened to Charlie is not from a 30-6. And my dad showed me, my dad is a former cop. And it pisses me off with Brandon Tatum, bro. It really does. Brandon Tatum is somebody that is so disappointing. It's so disappointing seeing who he is now, because I used to watch him a lot. I really did. Brandon Tatum was on that list with Candace Owens. You know what I mean? I used to listen to Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, a lot, man, back in the day. And I don't know who that person is now. When I really look at his content and when I watch him defend this BS that's going on, I don't know who that is now. When he goes on there and defends the blue and white country, Izzy, I don't know who that is. I don't know when it happened. I thought about going down that rabbit hole, but then I also thought about how, is it worth it? He's long gone. But I'm curious on when that shift happened. Because I do think it's important to recognize when it happened. And I might look into it because something for sure changed. Yeah, I agree. I just see the comment. Coach Collins' impression. Coach be killing me on Brandon Tatum's impression. He does. Blake Neff talking out the side of his neck. Yeah. But yeah, Brandon Tatum is one of them ones, man. So somebody like that always speaks on, I'm a former cop. I'm a former cop. I know how this goes. Explain this one. But he would find a way to come out and, come up with some type of excuse. He did the same thing with Erica's excuse on why she didn't go to UGA. He came out and said a whole bunch of bull, a whole bunch of bull. He said this whole thing about her security. And the funniest part about Brandon Tatum is that it's usually like a day or two late from like things that have already been debunked. So it's almost like, brother, have you been on the internet? You should have came out with this explanation of straight bull like 2 days ago, and it would have kind of fit in the algorithm. It's already been proven that she was in Georgia already. We already know this. And he'll make a video 2 days later talking about she couldn't go to Georgia because people, come on, you can't be acting like big dummies. She couldn't go to Georgia because the travel from Arizona to Georgia is where the threat was. And it's like, Brandon Tatum, where have you been, bro? She was in Georgia. She wasn't in Arizona. He'd be so far behind, bro. That's why, like, I don't know, man. He's very disappointing, but I just want to know why people don't respond to the important things. Why does Blake Neff not respond to this? Mind you, he responded on this episode. He responded to something pointless, talking about Tyler Robinson's family. Candace was lying about Tyler Robinson's family, recognizing the gun on the news, which Blake never ended up being wrong about that. Candace talked about it in today's episode. But I immediately was like, brother, I don't care. Why are you responding to the most pointless things, bro? Who cares how Tyler Robinson's family spotted whether it was him, the gun? Who cares about that? Respond to the important things. And they never do. Respond to what the grandfather said. Respond to the fact that his family is defending him. Like Candace said today, respond to the fact that Candace called you a liar because the donors said that Charlie clip saying, I want to appoint Erica to CEO is fake. Respond to that. But he never does. It's the weirdest thing ever. And I thought about that when I was on vacation. I really was just sitting back and I'm like, bro, I know this is a big, huge psyop, right? I know it. But sometimes I really just sit back and like, dang, am I in the real world right now? And I know that's where they want us to be. Like, that's exactly the state of mind that they want us to be in. But sometimes I really do sit back and I'm like, what's happening right now? Why are they responding to what Erica bought on her shopping spree, but they're not responding to you lying about where you was 2 days before Charlie died? Who gives a freak about the shopping spree, bro? Respond to why Erica and Andrew Colvett is lying, or at least their story isn't adding up on their traveling and where they were days before Charlie died. I don't want Andrew Colvett to be wrong. I don't want him to be a liar. I'm not hoping Erica is a liar. I'm not hoping. They're the ones that aren't making any sense. So now I'm like, okay, you're not making any sense and you lied. So you already lost a little bit of credibility. Because I'm like, why would you lie to me about where you were? So just please tell the truth. Come out and clarify. And they just don't. They just leave it in the dark. And I just sit back and just wonder, why do they not care? Or why do they not respond to the important things? And don't hit me with the case. Don't hit me with the case. The case is important. They don't want to taint the jury. TBUSA is the only people tainting the jury. Well, everybody is, if you want to be completely honest. But TBUSA is doing it the most. because they're the ones going around screaming he's guilty. We the ones that's saying alleged with everything. But I don't know, man. I don't know. The grandfather saying that was huge to me. And I was just hoping Blake Neff, if he was gonna choose to reply to something, I was hoping it was gonna be that, or I was hoping it was going to be the Charlie Kirk appoint Erica as CEO. Reply to the important things. Andrew Kovac does the same thing. They came out so quick when they were like, "Oh, Erica, her travel, the death threats, it was debunked. She was already in Georgia. They lied about the venue. They tried to do the fake B-roll on the news, all of that. And then they go silent. They don't come out and then clarify, yeah, bro, we was lying. I know I don't expect them to say that. Obviously, I'm selfish, so I just hope somebody comes out and just owns it. But they don't ever come out and clarify, okay, bro, your story is completely contradicting itself, or it's been completely debunked. Somebody's proving you to be a liar. Can you clarify? And they just say, no, we don't need to clarify. We're too holy to clarify. Y'all are demonic for debunking our lie. I don't know, bro. It's so weird. Hold on. A chopstick trick to get rid of hiccups. What is the chopstick trick? Dang, say that 5 times. Yeah, Coach Colin is the GOAT at impersonating Brandon Tatum. He really is. What's going on? Hey, Yappers, welcome in my Yapper community. He never reads the chat. Since when? When do I not read the chat? Don't do me like that, Gracie. That's crazy. I always got it pulled up. I just can't lose my train of thought. So I try to make sure I get all my thoughts off. That's the cons of being a yapper. I gotta make sure I yap first, read later. But no, that was huge for me. So the Tyler Robinson's granddad coming out saying that the gun definitely should have caused way more damage. It should have blew his neck off, or blew his head off his neck. I'm sorry, blew his head off his shoulders. Golly, blew his head off his shoulders. But we're gonna see what that, we're gonna see what that's gonna play out. I don't really think it will go anywhere. I guess another bullet that we can have in our back pocket on Tyler Robinson not pulling the trigger. I also think that it's crazy that the prosecution is holding evidence. This is such an open and shut case, yet they haven't turned over the evidence that's been requested for the last 7 months. DNA findings, the rifle, cell phone, access to cell phone. I mean, imagine defending Tyler Robertson and you don't even have access to your client's cell phone and you're defending him. And then you have to think, it makes you wonder, man. You got Miss Shalami out here talking about she is so holy, make heaven crowded again, right? All of these just weird things that I think are manipulation tactics, because there are a lot of people that weaponize Christianity. There are a lot of people that weaponize religion in general to, gain power and control over people. It happens. It's in our history. And unfortunately, I think she is the person that's doing it at the moment. She's using that trick, that tool at the moment. But don't you think it's funny how somebody that's also forgiving got up there and just, I forgive him, right? All of this talk about forgiveness, what you should do as a Christian. But this is the same woman that is trying to make sure that this boy dies by the death penalty. How does that work? You forgive Tyler Robinson, but you want him to die. You want him to. Let's make sure we're clear about that. I might get banned on TikTok for saying stuff like that. Is what it is. But that's what she wants, ultimately. I want you to die by the death penalty. And I want to make sure that I don't bring enough evidence to the table. I want to give up my rights as a victim, even though the defendant has a right to a speedy trial. She wants to give up her rights to speed it up even more, but not provide the evidence to prove that he's guilty, to prosecute him. Because at first, I've said this before. I'm trying to make sure my hiccups don't come back. I'm sorry. I've said before, when she gave up her rights or whatever, and she wanted a speedy trial, at first I was like, I don't really mind it, because if you want to bring the evidence sooner to prosecute Tyler Robinson, hey, go for it. I think that makes your job harder, because I don't think there's evidence at all. But hey, if you got the evidence, by all means, bring it sooner. Let's do it. I love it. So I originally, I didn't think that this was gonna happen. I didn't really think it was gonna be like this. I'll be honest. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, yeah, you a shady individual. But maybe I'm the naive one, because I was like, there's no way the court system will allow this to happen, right? There's no way the court system will allow somebody to the victim request a speedy trial, and they're about to go into the preliminary hearing without handing over the evidence to prosecute Tyler Robinson. There's no way they're going to allow that to happen. And boy, they had me fooled, because here we are with this open and shut case, this slam dunk case, this mountains of evidence case. And you know what? I should have done a little bit more research when I had that debate or that open discussion with Lisa Knowles, because she said something that I heard Andrew Kovett say. And I told her that. I said, I know you got that from Andrew Kovett, and I don't give a dang about what Andrew Kovett got to say. Anything that come out of his mouth is a straight lie, straight cap. But when she said, some lawyer said that if you throw away 90% of the evidence against Tyler Robinson, if you throw away 90% of it, he still would be found guilty. The evidence is still so overwhelming that he still would be found guilty off that 10%. And now, looking back at it, hindsight is always 2020. And I already knew it was BS. I just didn't feel like arguing that, because I'm like, first off, the people that's outside the trial, right? Us commentators that don't know too much. Who are you to know what the evidence is? We don't know anything. Same thing with Brandon Tatum. Same thing with Gary. Same thing with Lisa Knowles. Same thing with all of these people that defend TPUSA, Erica, all of that somehow they think Tyler Robinson did it. They have the same information we do. So there's no way that they can walk around and say, oh, if you threw away 90% of the evidence, what's the 90%? Name it. What is the 90% of evidence that you can throw away and still convict Tyler Robinson? Because the evidence that's been presented so far is nothing. And it's been very detrimental to their case. And now they don't want to give up or hand over more evidence. So how is that even true? The evidence you presented have been trash, and now you also don't want to give over more of your evidence. So how is it such a slam dunk case? I just feel like all of us grew up off of Law and Order or First 48. So these people can gaslight all they want to about, oh, y'all don't know enough. You don't know how the law works. Listen, you learn a lot of stuff off reality TV and those crime shows. You learn a lot. Trust me. The younger generation learns a lot from stuff like that. And you also got to remember, those things didn't just get created off of nothing, off of thin air. Like, yeah, they might add a little bit of fiction inside of a series just to have a storyline to make it a show. But the idea of the show is not made up. It's not somebody's original idea to come up with the show Law and Order and base it off of a crime, go into the court system, see how the court plays out, all that. First 48 wasn't somebody's original idea. Hey, let's go out and then just somehow create crime to create a show. These are real shows that people pay attention to, like myself. I love shows like that. So I don't know. I mean, they try to gaslight. I don't want to get into all that. They try to gaslight us on thinking that we don't learn stuff from the internet. This is a totally different ball game, brothers and sisters. This is 2026. We started learning stuff off the internet, arguably 2020 during COVID. I think I was in college pre-COVID, like 2016, 2020. That was my college years. The internet was not like this. I promise you. This came about where you can learn absolutely anything on the internet since 2020. Prior to 2020, you can find stuff on the internet, but it wasn't no chat GBT, all that. We had YouTube, yes, but the algorithms were different. There was no For You page. It was totally different. You only could see who you followed. There was no, I'm over here and I'm watching somebody on my For You page popped up that lives in California and they telling me about their life story. That wasn't a thing. If you didn't follow the person, you couldn't see the person. But we learn everything now off the internet. So don't let these people gaslight y'all, saying that y'all don't know what y'all talking about. You don't know how the court system works, because that's one of their main go-tos. But Tyler Robinson's defense team is trying. I'll give them credit where credit's due. I think I bashed them a couple of times, couple of videos. I was like, man, I don't know what they doing, but something seems off. And I've said it before. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with Tyler Robinson's defense team. They just seem like they in on it too. And they still could be. I don't know. However, it does seem like they're trying though. When you listen to these Tyler Robinson appearances in court and stuff, they do seem like they're trying. They do genuinely seem like they're like, bro, what's going on? Like, I'm trying to defend my client, and y'all not giving me anything. Y'all handed me over $600,000 documents and pieces of evidence and all of these things, and you want me to go through it all in 1 month and be ready when y'all have had it for 7 months? So they do seem like they genuinely are trying. But what I think is, again, I'm going to go back to Miss Shalami. How can somebody so holy, so Christian-like, that wants to portray herself as such, want somebody dead, but can't even bring the evidence forward to prove that he deserves the death penalty? That's some sick stuff right there. And yes, she has a part of the prosecution's play. She has a huge part of that. So I'm not trying to hear nobody say, oh, she's just along for the ride. No. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I said, you know what? I don't want this trial to go long either. Even though the defendant has a right to a speedy trial, I don't want this trial to go long either. I don't want this to go 4-5 years. I don't. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt plenty of times from day one. But specifically with this whole speedy trial thing, I was like, you know what? Hey, if you know something that I don't know and you can bring it to the table faster, please do. Let's shut all of this up. Shut all of us up. But now that we know that the prosecution team don't have anything, They're trying to come up with stuff because if they had something, they would have handed it over. If it was an open and shut case, they would have handed every single file over on day one, right? Or whenever somebody requested the files, they would have handed them over. It's an open and shut case. Remember, it's a slam dunk case. If we threw away 90% of the evidence, we still can get a conviction. Remember, that's one of their main talking points. Okay, cool. So how about you hand over 90% of the evidence ASAP? Right? Because if we can defend that 90% of the evidence and somehow still find reasonable doubt within all of that 90% of evidence, that 10% of evidence, you still should be able to convict Tyler Robinson, right? That's what they've been saying. But they can't. That's why they won't hand it. That's why they won't hand it over. And I just thought, and I could be wrong. This is where my expertise inside of the judicial system and all of that stuff is beyond me. But as a judge, how do you not dismiss a case that's panning out like this? How do you not say you've been holding on to what for how long? You had autopsy pictures in the first day of the victim, passing away. You had the autopsy pictures in the first day, and you didn't hand it over until last month. And the only thing the defendants, the defense, the only thing they have is a summary of the autopsy. They can't even examine the rifle. They don't even have access to their own client's phone. And you want a preliminary hearing in a month? I don't know how cases like that don't get dismissed. Makes me wonder about the judge. But again, I'm going to always circle back to Erica Kirk because I need people to realize and understand how evil this woman is. She's very evil for wanting Tyler Robinson dead. For somebody that forgave him. She's very evil for that. I'm not surprised. Because all of that was fake. All of it. But it's just sick how she used religion. Brought it all together. Used religion as if it was this. What was that? As if it was this moment that everybody bought. That's what I want everybody to remember. Because I do. So I want to invite y'all into my headspace on why I feel the way I feel about Miss Shalami. On the Memorial Day, on Memorial Service, whenever that happened, 9/15/16, one of those days, September 15th to 16th, when she got up there and said her thing on, Tyler Robinson, I forgive you, the whole looking up in the air, whatever, right? I need y'all to realize or just remember how you felt in that very moment. Some people, shout out to y'all. Some people's discernment was on 10 and knew right then and there something was off. I wasn't that tapped in with everything yet. Like, I don't even think I might have saw the casket video, but I think I was just more so like for the ones that's been following me for a while, like I was in the trenches of content when Charlie first died, because I was posting left and right trying to figure out like why people were hating him and why people were celebrating. And I was dissecting his content and going down rabbit holes and trying to explain to people what Charlie actually meant versus how they interpreted it. So I was kind of going down that rabbit hole. I wasn't even really connected with what was going on with Erica and the casket video and all of that. I was kind of doing something else. But when I finally was able to pay attention to that, I was fooled, bro. I was fooled. I definitely was like, man, I don't know how she forgave him so quick, but maybe I'm just not there yet in my faith. I thought that. I'd be completely honest with y'all. I thought that for a couple of, because I was like, bro, I couldn't forgive nobody that fast. And yeah, the Bible does talk about forgiveness. The Bible specifically says forgive somebody not only 7 times, but 77 times. So it's scary when somebody knows that they manipulate scripture, because y'all got to remember, even the devil knows scripture. He knows word for word. He also knows how to manipulate it. He's the mastermind at manipulating scripture. He has to know it all to manipulate it. But when I first seen, when I saw her say, she forgave him and stuff, I was like, man, I don't know. I'm not there yet. Maybe it's me. Maybe my heart needs to soften, because I can't do that. I can't forgive nobody that fast. I'm sorry. I feel like it's a natural thing for somebody to, I hate you for a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know how long that might be. It might be a week. It might be a month. Might be a year. You shot my husband. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm her. But like me personally, I'm like, you shot my significant other in front of the world. And I got to see that in 4K every day. Yeah, I don't forgive you in 6 days or 5 days, whenever the memorial was. I don't. I'm similar to like how Vanessa Bryant handled Kobe. She was pissed. She was suing everybody left and right. I'm similar to that. I'm like, yeah, what? I'm not there yet. So when I first heard her say that, I forgive him, I said, man, maybe I gotta grow. I gotta grow more in my faith, man. Maybe I really had a self-reflecting moment. I said, man, maybe that's the right thing to do. I'm just not there yet. I don't know. I made a couple videos about it. Still up to this day. I said, man, I came to her defense. I said, everybody does kind of grieve differently, right? I fell for the same thing. So, it took only about 2 weeks or so. Then I was like, something's off. But when you look back at all of that months later, and you realize like all of that was calculated, oh, it pisses you the freak off. Listen, I don't cuss anymore. So I have words in mind. But when I tell you, it really pissed me off when you started to put things together and realize that she was calculated with every move that she did. Her getting up there and saying, I forgive you in front of the world, that was calculated. Shoot, you can get it all the way down to her wearing all white to a funeral, because you had to be the star of the show, right? You had to be seen. Nobody's wearing all white to a funeral, right? The pyrotechnics, whatever you want, pyrotechnics. I don't know. I call them fireworks. I know they ain't really fireworks. They fake fireworks, but I call them fireworks. But all of that, the hugging Trump, I'm like, bro, what? When you go back and look at all of that, it pisses you off on another level, because you start analyzing, and it's like, damn, so that was calculated. That was calculated. You did this for that. You did this for that. All of this was for a show. You had me questioning my faith, because that's all they talked about for the first week after Charlie died. This is a revival. So many people came together to glorify the Lord. Look how many people in the room. They had your favorite artist on the stage, bro. I love Brandon Lake. But so it boils me to another degree when I know, and I'm not saying Brandon Lake was a part of Turning Point USA's BS. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that they brought in specific people to use it as a tool, to use it as manipulation, to bring you into this, to exactly where they want you. That's when I started getting pissed off, because I love Brandon Lake. And I was like, hold on, bro. So that was one of those, like, okay, if you don't believe Erica, right? If she didn't sell you enough on her fake tears, I know you like Brandon Lake. We got Brandon Lake in the building, everybody. And other people too that they had there. Obviously, praise and worship songs always hit different. So when you're hearing the worship songs, you're moved by that too. It was so many things, man. And yeah, when I look back, man, and understand that all of those things were calculated and on purpose, oh, it pisses me off, bro. It pisses me off. It really does. So I think she's an evil person because she wants this she wants this dude. She wants Tyler Robinson dead. She wants him 6 feet in the dirt. Now, I know I just went on a huge rant, man. Erica really has me pissed off tonight. Because she bothers me, man. She really does. She bothers me because she wanted to be famous so bad, and I'm so glad that this is her version that she gets of fame. I'm so glad. I couldn't be more happy. I'm glad. Now you're famous, Erica. This is exactly what you wanted. And you know, coming from a father's perspective, a husband's perspective, just watching somebody like Charlie get betrayed hurts you on so many different levels. You don't even have to really know bro like that. You know, I'd say it all the time that I didn't really know him that much. Definitely not on this level to talk about him almost every day. I never talked about him at all in my life until he died. So I'm completely honest about that. But it's a reason that I really latched on to this. It's just because of like that personal level that you have as a human being and the natural emotions we have when we feel betrayed by anybody. And our generation, we've never lived through something like this before. You know, you hear about the JFKs, you hear about, you know, now we hear about 9/11 and the questions that are around 9/11. We didn't have all of that back in the day. You know what I mean? When 9/11 happened, I was 4. I don't even know where I was at. I was 4 years old. I probably was in daycare somewhere, but I don't know. I cannot recall that at all. So I didn't have questions. I didn't grow up asking questions. So when we're living through something like this right now with Charlie Kirk and we're watching these things happen in live time, these are things that you would have thought you would never have seen in your lifetime. Your own government, your own administration actively involved in a cover-up of taking out their own citizen. And so watching him get betrayed by his closest friends, his wife, these are real things that happen to everyday people. And so it just, I don't know, you can relate on so many different levels. And that's why I think this case is just it's covered by everybody and people can't stop talking about it just because it's so relatable. Bump the money that's involved. It's the principle. Like, don't think about the dollar amount. Think about the principle. How many people you know get betrayed because of money? How many people do you know that would do anything for money? How many people have completely crashed out over money? It happens to everybody. How many people have a friend that chose to date the wrong person? They picked the wrong person. And now your close friend that once was is no longer because they didn't got caught up with this individual and now they completely changed. Now they always in trouble. Now they acting totally different. They didn't switched up. Like that's happening in this Charlie Kirk case. Right? It's so many things happening from like just the principle level. Bump where these people are as far as money, finances, all that other stuff. These things happen every single day. That's why so many people are like, bro, this case is crazy. I could not imagine laying next to a snake like Erica Kirk every single night as a wife or a husband, laying next to a snake, somebody that's plotting on you, plotting on your downfall, praying on your downfall. I couldn't imagine one of my best friends, Blake, Andrew Kovac, all these other people that are claiming to be friends of mine. I couldn't imagine having a friend turn their back on me for some money. You know, that cuts deep. It really does. The last thing that I wanted to talk about though, before we get out of here, and I know I'm doing a lot of yapping tonight. I do apologize because I haven't talked to my yappers. I haven't talked to y'all in I think a week. Yeah, I think 7 days. I think six days might be the last time we was on live. So yeah, I've been holding my tongue for a long time, for a week. So I really cannot wait to get some stuff off my chest in general. So I'm sorry if there was a lot of tangenting and getting personal and yapping about certain things. The last thing I want to talk about though, for real, is the Tyler Robinson timeline, because it is getting very, very interesting. I can't pull up too many details right now. Let me just pull up what I have, and I'm going to have to plug in some more into my timeline to have a better visual. Is this it? Yeah. So this is a rough draft. Please do not judge me. Please. I have not, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I'm trying to plug everything in and all of that stuff. So do not judge whatsoever in this timeline. I repeat, do not judge whatsoever in this timeline that I'm about to show you. But I want to go through this timeline really quick with Tyler Robinson. Okay, I don't have nothing crazy up. I'm just trying to make sure I ain't got nothing crazy up. Okay. So this timeline that I want to go through real quick is getting very, very interesting, because the timeline for Tyler Robinson, the window, is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where it's going to be almost, you can't even place Tyler Robinson on a roof. It's going to get there. It's going to get to a place where we cannot place Tyler Robinson on the roof, because he's just everywhere but the roof. And I don't know. This is going to be very important one day. Not my spreadsheet. My spreadsheet's a little sloppy. I'm saying in general, the principle, or the part of closing the timeline and getting it so tight to the point where nobody can place Tyler Robinson on that roof. And what I mean by that is, like you see right here, the Big Bang happens at 12:23. I don't want to go through everything. This is just kind of like a rough draft. I wanted to add and talk about something that Baron hit on a couple of episodes ago, of Tyler Robinson going to a car wash. And we actually talked about it as well. I did not break any news or nothing like that. This has happened before. This has been talked about before by Baron and other people. But we talked about before of Tyler Robinson being spotted by a surveillance camera, a plaza parking lot surveillance camera, around 12:45. This is 22 minutes after the Big Bang. And he was spotted on a plaza surveillance camera in the plaza parking lot. He was parked in the parking lot at 12:45. And so I'm thinking to myself already, bang happens at 12:23. I'm sorry, I don't want to get the hiccup. I'm trying my best not to get the hiccups. Bang happens at 12:23. Tyler Robinson runs, jumps off the roof, right? What they're trying to tell us. Well, first he disassembled the rifle. right? We can just leave out the screwdriver because they already completely trashed the screwdriver story because they don't make any sense. So the FBI left that out in the court documents. So 12:23, the Big Bang happens. He runs off the roof, jumps off the roof. Let's just say it has to be a minute or two, right? He's running across campus, runs into the woods. Gotta say what, 12:30, maybe. He dropped the gun. Don't know why. He's trying to get away with the crime of the century. He wants to keep it a secret. He didn't want to tell nobody, but he left behind evidence when he didn't have to because his car was right there. So nobody was chasing you. I digress. That's pointless information. Well, I mean, it's useful, but not with his timeline. He runs to the car, right? So I'm just going to say it has to be like 5 minutes, right? 12:28, 12:30. The drive, he changed clothes as well and all this other crazy stuff. But the drive to this plaza parking lot was, I believe, 5 minutes to get there. So we have to make sure that we, allocate 5 minutes to get there. So the bang happens. The pizza camera, I said a pizza. The plaza, I'm getting sleepy. The plaza camera picks up Tyler Robinson's Dodge Challenger. And again, I'll, in post-production, I'll see if I can tag the video that we made in the previous the Daily App episodes where we go over that plaza parking lot camera showing Tyler Robinson driving through the parking lot. He drove past one time and then he pulled back into the parking lot, parked there for about 30 seconds to a minute. It seems like a car pulls in behind him and then he takes off. Very, very strange. And the plaza parking lot picked him up at 12:43. We see that right here. And then what we now know because of the court documents, and Barron revealed it, is that at 12:45, they don't talk about the plaza, him parking in the plaza parking lot. But at 12:45, he puts in the GPS to go to a car wash. And got this from Barron. He broke this down in one of his videos about going to, I think it's like Quackers or something like that. I could try to find it really quick. So please hold because I definitely want y'all to hear what Barron said about this. Please hold and be patient with me. I am almost close to the episode. I really want y'all to hear this because I was supposed to talk about this last week before vacation, but I couldn't. Oh, Baron. Sometimes it is so challenging finding. This is 100% my fault, so I'm not blaming Baron, but it is hard to go back and identify Baron's, find some timestamps and stuff when you haven't already looked at it prior. But there was an episode, if anybody can remember, while I'm looking, there was an episode where Baron breaks down the court documents of Tyler Robinson putting in the GPS of it's only one eye, man. It's only one eye. Relax. And it's always the same eye. It happens every now and then when the pollen get crazy. But he talks about Tyler Robinson putting in his GPS going to the place called Quackers, I believe. I forgot what episode it was. But Tyler puts in the GPS around 12:45 to go there. Okay, that's Tyler Robinson. I'm only gonna try a little bit longer to find it. I just want y'all to hear it from Baron. Ooh, I think I found it. I think I found it. Yeah. Okay, I found it. Let me get it pulled up for you. I appreciate y'all being patient because that is unacceptable for me not to already have that ready. But I have it ready now.
That's not what Tyler Robinson does. Instead, he pulls up his phone and leaves yet more evidence about where he's been and where he's going, and pulls up directions to the Quick Quack car wash. Well, I wanted to see what the Quick Quack car wash looked like because he showed up there 11 minutes later. Because I will show you this real quickly, just so you know I'm not making stuff up. Agent Draney with the Utah State Bureau of Investigation obtained records and video footage from the Quick Quack car wash of Tyler Robinson's 2013 Dodge Challenger with license plate XYZ arriving at the car wash at approximately 12:57 hours on September 10th. We've got a decision tree to make, folks. One of two things is true. Either Tyler Robinson's a lone wolf with a dirty car, and he can find no better time to go get a car wash than immediately after the highest profile political assassination in America in 62 years. And I guess that's option A. Option B is he might want to hang out at the Quick Quack, because I'll show you what the Quick Quack looks like on a map. And you might answer the question yourself of what is it precisely Tyler Robinson was doing at the Quick Quack? Why would he be going to the Quick Quack? Here is the Quick Quack. You'll see here cars lining up to go into the Quick Quack. And then they come around after getting washed off and they park under these things here in order to vacuum themselves out. While you're in here, you are impervious to being seen. And while you are under here, you are hidden from satellite photography. If he was not working alone, this would be a wonderful place to meet immediately after the highest profile political assassination in 62 years. Let me pull it up from a different angle, let you guys see even more about what the Quick Quack car wash looked like at Orem, Utah.
So you can see Barron breaks down, again, the importance of the timeline and narrowing it down as close as we can to prove that Tyler Robinson wasn't on that roof. So he puts in while he was at the plaza, because I was trying to figure that out too, is what made him stop at the plaza. Why, after committing, allegedly the crime of the century, let's say he did it, who in their right mind would drive to a plaza parking lot, pass it one time, drive into the parking lot and park, wait, and then put in the car wash? It doesn't make any sense at all. And then one thing that people also tend to forget is the plaza parking lot. One of the workers that worked in one of those stores, they said that the FBI came and stopped by their place, their work, and seized all the camera footage. we heard that same story with the hospitals. So I think it is a very important key detail to note that Tyler Robinson was at that Plaza parking lot, and then he put in his GPS to go to the Quick Quack for some reason. Now, somebody just commented on TikTok that maybe Tyler stopped at the car wash to wash all the fingerprints off his car. I mean, maybe it's not a bad theory. I mean, it's the car is registered in his name, so I don't know if that matters too much, but maybe. I just don't know why anybody would commit a crime like that and go to the car wash and hang around the crime scene. Because we got to remember, according to, let me pull back up my timeline really quick. Yeah, I got a lot of things to plug in my timeline. He puts the GPS in at 12:45 to go to the Quick Quack. I don't know what time he gets to the Quick Quack. Then he has a conversation with Lance. But we also have to remember that he hangs around Provo. He hangs around UVU all day, because we also have on record the court documents say, or the charging documents, whichever one, it's on record, and it says that hours later, they don't give us a time frame, right? I'm just putting 6:30 because Candace suggests 6:30. Barron kind of throws in around that time as well, but we just know they said hours later was the time, was the wording they used. They said hours later, a cop had an encounter with Tyler Robinson. But obviously he didn't know it was Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson was trying to get back to his rifle. And this is Tyler Robinson also texting Lance saying, I'm waiting to get back to my rifle so I can leave no evidence and blah, blah, blah. So it was very odd, because why is he still around UVU late in the evening? Why is he still hanging around campus after committing such a crime like that? That makes no sense at all. And so we have on record of a sheriff having some type of encounter with Tyler Robinson around sometime in the evening. We're just going to say 6:30 for now. But we also have the Dairy Queen photos that we don't really have a timestamp for, but it's around that time too. So nothing is really making any sense. Also, in that same day, we also have the receipts from, I guess Candace, or people confirming with Candace that he was at a steakhouse in Panguitch, however you want to pronounce it. So Tyler Robinson was a busy man on the day of the assassination, right? Doesn't make any sense at all on all of the places he was. And then also, we're probably gonna have to do a whole separate live on the other findings, the other things that Barron found in the court documents that talks about, in that same video, that talks about Tyler Robinson's Challenger being spotted on a Ring doorbell camera around midnight to 1 a.m. going into September 11th, still in Provo, still around UVU. So that means he still was around the crime scene, or at least the city. He still was around going into midnight, into the 1 a.m. in the late hours. So it's a lot of things aren't making any sense. I promise you, the timeline isn't making any sense, but I love it. I love the Fed slop, because it's slopping bad, and they can't really defend it much. But I just wanted to show y'all, I know, really quick, that Tyler Robinson timeline, because I know we talked about it a little bit, then went on vacation and stuff like that. So I'm working on it. It's still very in a rough draft state right now, but I promise you it will be way better presented now that I am back in action, and we back locked and loaded. We took a much needed break and rest, but we back in there. Black Line Brief, what's going on, brother? Man, what's going on, Matt? It's been a lot of people talking very highly of you, and so I subbed to you, brother, a couple weeks ago. A lot of people talk very highly of you, and I definitely love your content, man. And they said we need to get together and chop it up. So hopefully we can make that happen. But I'm glad you stopped in, man. I should have probably commented on yours a couple of times. I've watched quite a few of your lives. But you're no longer a stranger to me, man. So welcome in, brother. Welcome in. But let's go ahead and get to some of the comments, because definitely love to yap with my yappers, man. Love y'all to death. Definitely thankful for y'all's patience tonight with the hiccups going on for 2.5 to 3 hours and had to start late and all types of stuff like that. So I definitely appreciate it. Let's see. What I don't understand is that Candace is busting everyone's butt but Officer Tatum. I don't get it. He has talked more trash and put thoughts about her theories than anyone. You know, this is one for me that I also have no answer to. I am very selfish when it comes to this topic between Candace and Brandon Tatum, because I want Candace to shut him up just one good time. Just once. Because I'm also sick and tired of him. You know, he used to sneak diss Candace a lot. He wouldn't really mention her name, but he'd be talking about her, because he would take one of her theories and then say, anyone who thinks like this is a big dummy. So he used to sneak diss Candace, and then he started mentioning Candace. He had one of them interviews overseas. I forgot who he was with, but it was with two guys, and he finally started saying her name. Now he's just outright, you know, he says her name. So she said before that, you know, someone asked her about that on her show towards the end with the Q&As a long time ago. And she said that Brandon is family, and she doesn't really go in too deep with the politics with him, and they don't want to cross that barrier. Brandon has said before that he doesn't think that if they were to talk about this conversation face to face, he doesn't think it would go well. So I think maybe they just avoid each other to avoid that clash. But I do wonder, because I think he deserves to get the attention he's been seeking just once from Candace, just once. We're talking about the mountains of the evidence. Man, Coach Colin has the best Brandon Tatum impression, the best one. I was watching Coach Colin earlier today, and he is hilarious when he impersonates Brandon Tatum. And she's on a gag order. How is that not a crime? I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure what's going on with the judge and why TPUSA has been able to just violate the law so freely. Erica, Blake Neff. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. This is I'm new to this. This has never happened in my lifetime, to see people just blatantly break the law and nobody cares. It's weird. It's a weird thing. But, you know, the feds are in on it. So many people that are in on it. I've never seen our administration personally. Maybe it's happened and some people seen it before. But with our administration, I've never seen the vice president or the president, you know, place guilt on a man that hasn't even had his trial yet. It'd be totally different if he confessed to his friends and also turned himself in and confessed to the authorities. He pled guilty, you know, things like that. But for somebody that hasn't confessed to the authorities at all, but our president of the United States is saying he's guilty, the vice president of the United States is saying he's guilty. Now, JD Vance also said the other day, he's kind of slipped up and said, like, they killed Charlie or something like that. It was weird. But still, Erica, Blake Neff violating the gag order, President Trump, VP JD Vance. It's odd for these people to come out and just place guilt on somebody that has not had his trial yet, insinuating that our judicial process truly is, you are guilty until proven innocent. Which, if that's the case, let's just keep it fair across the board. That's how I'm gonna treat Erica. You're guilty until you prove to me that you're innocent. So if y'all want to play that game, then the public is gonna play that game too. Who's in the gag order? I believe it's a lot of people affiliated with TPUSA, but it's definitely the witnesses that were there, like Blake Neff, Frank. I don't know if Frank Turk is, but Frank Turk would qualify for somebody that was a witness. I think Erica is as well. So pretty much TPUSA. Miss Shalami is a liar. She for sure is. Yes, I agree with you. 1000%. She's gonna be brought up to testify. Erica is, man. That's why I don't know, man. They definitely need time to look at the whole 600,000 files that were sent over. But I really cannot wait for the day that, the preliminary, the trial, whatever. But I think after the preliminary, whatever happens with that, Tyler Robinson is going to be in some serious trouble. Because if they can't prove that he pulled that trigger and it unfolds the way we want it to unfold, which is he's guilty, just not of pulling that trigger, and they can't bring enough evidence, yo, that brother is cooked. I'm telling you, he's cooked. He's done. They're not finna let that man get out or get off. Not finna happen. That boy finna be done. He either gonna do that or he's gonna take like a quick plea. I've been saying this already, so this shouldn't come off as new to anybody that's been listening. He's gonna take a quick plea, and everybody's gonna be like, "Why would you take a plea, bro? All the evidence was in your favor that you did not pull the trigger." And it's not even gonna make any sense. But the second he takes the plea, it's over with. So I think once it unfolds that the prosecution team really has nothing, they're gonna resort to the unthinkable. And I don't wish that upon nobody. Even though I think Tyler Robinson wants to be where he's at, maybe not to the point of like, oh, I knew I was gonna get the death penalty. Maybe not like that, but I think that he knew that he played a role in Charlie Kirk's removal. So I don't think he's oblivious to the fact that if he gets out, if he gets off, if he gets out, like they release him, he is a dead man walking. These people cannot have somebody like Tyler Robinson walking the street. Do you know how many people are going to reach out to him for an interview? They cannot have. I don't think y'all understand how serious that is. Again, I'm going to reference the TV shows that they swear we don't learn nothing from. The TV shows of when people get out of jail for doing bad things, but they end up getting off. They don't get the roam free for too long because they know too much. So there's a lot of ways this preliminary hearing can go, but if it goes in our favor, that would mean Tyler Robinson is in grave danger. Let's see, 11:19. Misty, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the dono. Thank you very much. All the people are getting paid to post on their X accounts. I agree. I think Graham Allen, Officer Tatum, it's so many others that, they all say the same talking point. Gary, Lisa knows. Look, Lisa knows. I think she denied one of the questions that somebody asked her when we was having that open discussion about if she was getting paid, and I think she said no. But I think anybody that defends Turning Point USA 100% of the time, you are getting paid, sir or ma'am. You should not agree with anybody 100% of the time. But especially with TPUSA, with everything they got going on right now, there's no way. There's no way that anybody should be agreeing with everything that they're doing. But they find a way to every time. And I'm like, hey, when you do stuff like that, you give me no choice but to believe you're paid. This is just like the JFK, but they'll look back and be like, they were calling out while it was happening. They'll look terrible if they convict him. They will. I think this is an interesting spot for both parties, as in us versus them, because they lost a lot of trust from us already. I mean, our generation is already I just hope I don't get the hiccups. I'm trying my best. Because if it starts, oh my gosh. I don't know. Please, somebody give me some type of remedy. Because I feel it coming. And I can't do another 3 hours. Our generation, we question everything already. The internet is something that they did not want to be this powerful for us. They didn't want us to communicate in the ways we are now with each other, with researching all of their lives. They did not want this at all. And it's more powerful than we think. We only have access to what they allow us to have. A lot more is out there. But yeah, this is going to put everybody in a tough spot because, for one, you can just take me, for example. This situation, without even getting to the end, right? Whatever that looks like, Tyler Robinson, either, whatever that looks like, the end of this Charlie Kirk investigation, I personally no longer want to vote. Due to the Charlie Kirk situation, due to this war, due to the e-files, just to name the biggest three. So no matter how this plays out, you lost me. Because I was able to truly see that a foreign, in my opinion, I think there was foreign influence. There were a lot of different entities. Like there's never just a simple, it was two parties. Like it was so many different entities involved in this one situation, similar to JFK, similar to 9/11. But there was a foreign entity involved in this Charlie Kirk situation. And in order for that to happen, like our president, our administration would have to have knowledge of that. So then that would mean that our administration is okay with foreign entities coming in and taking out their own citizens, and they do nothing about it. Matter of fact, they protect and defend them. So that's pretty bad when you can have other countries come in and take out your citizens and our administration defends them. So I don't want to vote anymore. I won't vote anymore. It's going to be hard to even get to that place of, I'm going to vote. No, I might vote like locally and stuff like that. That's going to affect like my city and stuff. But as far as like national, like elections, presidential elections, no, they didn't want us to have this much access to the internet. Killing Charlie was the worst thing they could have ever did because Charlie said, ask questions. I think one of his things he said was keep asking questions because it keeps you free, keeps us free. They killed a huge voice for the younger generation. Huge voice. And it's going to be hard to get that back. Now with everything that's going on, we're completely aware that with presidential elections, the elites select the two that are going to run against each other. But they both are puppets. They both work for the elites. They were already handpicked by the elites. So they make it seem like we live in this. They make it seem like we live in a democracy. It's an illusion. We don't. They make it seem like this presidential election is, oh, we get to get out and vote for whoever our favorite is that's gonna do something for us, and it makes me feel good because I went out and voted for them. An illusion. The votes don't mean anything. Both parties work for them. Both are an employee of the elite. So, like things like this, we already know. So, whether he's convicted, whether he's not, it's gonna be bad, regardless. To be honest. They think we're dumb and will accept anything. They tell us a fact, not anymore. They do. They think everybody's stupid. They try to gaslight everybody. I've never seen this type of gaslighting before, like used so often. Try to like question our intelligence. Like we'll see something that's obvious, and these people will be like, "You didn't see that." Yes, I did. What are you talking about? So yeah, it's crazy. Not the looking up in the air with her crazy eyes. Yeah, that was crazy. She had a lot of people fooled. She had a lot of people fooled. She didn't really get me with the looking up in the air part. I was more so listening to the, what she was saying. But yeah. Did a deep dive on Erica and you freaked yourself out. Let's see. The autopsy will speak volumes. That's when they will see that his mic pack exploded. They will have to explain where that came from. I don't know why the judge is not dismissing the case with so much inconsistencies. I know. And, Candace raised an important question. Was he cremated? And, we won't get that answer. We won't get that answer. Hopefully. I'm optimistic, but things that will solidify so many different things for us, we tend to never get. Straightforward yes or no's, like yes or no questions. If we get some of these speculations answered, I'm already getting suspended on live. Bro, what? I'm spreading misinformation on TikTok over here. That's why I'm on YouTube. YouTube loves me. I'm spreading information that says I'm about to get banned or something like that. So just be prepared, TikTok family. But if we can get yes or no information or yes or no questions answered with speculation and stuff like that, like was he buried? Erica freaks out. Can I have one thing? And it's like, bro, shawty, I don't want to know where. I don't care. Right? I don't care where. Was he? Yes or no? She won't answer that. And I'm glad Candace brought that up tonight when she said, can I have one thing? Because it's like, bro, you literally filmed the dead man in his casket. And you was just kissing all up on his hands and whispering to him. What is you talking about, lady? You've had more than one thing. And I think if it comes out that he was cremated, I think the reason hopefully we find out. But one of the main reasons why we won't find out is because that will tell us everything we need to know. Everything. And they're going to probably come out and say, it was Charlie's dying wish. You know what? A week before Charlie died, we had a conversation about cremation. And that was something that he really wanted. He really wanted that. He told me that last week. And, God placed that on his heart. They're going to say something crazy to the point where you just like, what? It's this gaslighting thing they do, I don't know. It's just something they do that they ultimately pretty good at, because clearly it still got some people. Let me see, 11:29. Let's see. Mystic Gypsy again with the $5 dono. I appreciate your support. I know a lot of peeps will be down for a collab with Black Line. How can he and his team get in touch with you? I'm gonna reach out to him. I already follow Black Line on X, so I'm gonna reach out to Matt. Now that he's tapped into the show, and we'll collab for sure. I love Matt's content. I watch him every day, just like I watch other people. So we will be in touch. I don't have a team. It's just me. So I'm a regular guy. I'm gonna reach out to him on X probably. And we'll figure something out. I forgive the man that killed my husband, but I'm suing the man that imitated me. Yeah. I don't know if she officially sued Drewski. I know Andrew Covet was very mad. Andrew Covet was very mad about it, and Andrew Covet is her mouthpiece, so I mean she was very mad. But yeah, I mean insane, right? Absolutely insane. You're never too late. Never. Best part about YouTube is that you can always just watch the playback. Always. But I was late. So we both got to take the blame. I'll take the blame first because I for sure was 30 minutes late tonight. So unprofessional. I'm sorry. The judge's behavior is so strange because any other case, it would have been dismissed or something. They expect Tyler Robinson to go down. So this wouldn't have to be meaning court and evidence. Yeah, it is strange. It is strange. You know, I agree with a lot of people and their theories on Tyler Robinson wasn't supposed to survive this thing. Because that's what it seems like. It seems like he was not supposed to make it this far. And he even said it in his own words, right? According to the Fed Slop, according to those text messages, he was going to get into it with the police and go out that way. But he didn't. So, and he even said, I don't want to be dragged out through the court system in front of, on TV. He said that. So I don't know. Interesting things that are about to happen very soon. As a woman, when she said that, I was like, heck no way Tyler would have made it to turn himself in or made it try. I would have turned into the Punisher. Yeah. I think everybody would. That's one of those things again where they try to gaslight us and say, no, she's different. And they try to make this story very specific to make it seem like you can't relate. When in general, it's like, bro, we have natural human reactions. So they try to say, yeah, but Erica's different. She lost her husband. She lost her husband in a way that you couldn't even imagine. And then you start thinking like, yeah, I've never lost anybody like that. But I just feel like if you place 100 people in a room, 100 people is probably going to say, I'm going to be very pissed off at the person that took my significant other's life. And I probably won't be smiling, laughing on a Zoom call with employees 6 days later. I probably won't be laughing about emojis on that Zoom call. I probably won't be calling anybody amazing, which is what she called Mikey McCoy 2 days after Charlie Kirk died. I probably wouldn't be doing that. I don't think anybody's amazing after my significant other dies. This is how I'm feeling. I'm pissed. You think you're going to get a compliment out of me? 2 days later? 2. You're not getting a compliment out of me. She said, Mikey McCoy, the amazing Mikey McCoy, 2 days after Charlie's death, right? When she was rubbing the chair. Then she said JD Vance's wife was like amazing or some type of compliment she gave her. And I'm like, nah, nobody amazing. Until I get down to the bottom of what happened. Mikey McCoy, I saw you walk away from my husband. I saw the clip. I saw you walk away from my husband. He ain't even hit the ground yet. And you turned around and walked away with the phone to your ear. Who's you talking to? Because you ain't called me. Not that fast. Who's you talking to? Why did you walk away? I thought you and Charlie was real close. Why you ain't? It just seemed pretty odd. I thought you ain't from the hood, right? So I'm assuming you're not used to gunshots. So once you hear a gunshot, I would expect you to either run or duck for cover. Or maybe you feel like a hero. And once you see Charlie was the one that got shot, you run to Charlie. You did none of those three and you walk away on the phone? Who was you talking to? Let me see the phone call right now. You was talking to your wife? You called your wife first? What did you have to call your wife about? Like, bro, I'm grilling Michael McCoy. If I'm Erica, I'm grilling. But that's how you know Erica's guilty, because she don't do none of this. I'm grilling Michael McCoy. You ain't amazing. Andrew Kovac said that Charlie trained you to call me as soon as something happens to Charlie, and you called your wife? Fired. Get out of my face before I rip your head off. Andrew Kovac, he texted you the night before saying that he felt like he was going to die. You ain't want to tell me that information? I had to find out from Candace. You really finna make me get online and agree with Candace? Because they can't stand agreeing with her. You ain't even tell me Charlie texted you that? You got me out here looking crazy? Boy, Andrew Kovac's head would have been on a plate. I'm telling you. But, hey, maybe I'm just different. Maybe Miss Shalom is just different. That's what they try to tell us. The power of those words, I forgive him, didn't match her physical response. If she had the power to forgive him that quickly, she would have been composed and stern, not still crying. I agree. Looking back at all of that, like, I definitely agree. I did not peep in the moment, but as soon as I was on her head and I started going back and watching everything, I was like, oh, yeah. New. 100% agree. In order to proceed with TN case, this case, Tyler, no, I don't know. I think he meant this case because I see the IS. In order to proceed with this case, they need the evidence, if any. I don't know how long will prolong this knowing the truth. Our tax money is being wasted just to keep a narrative. These people are soulless. I agree with you. I do, Silky Bad Girl. I agree with you because these people are doing nothing but wasting time. You was in high school and it started getting questioned, but we were called crazy. Are you talking about like JFK, 9/11, all that stuff? Yeah, like I couldn't even imagine high school or college right now with the internet that we have. Oh my gosh, I would have been the crazy man in school because I for sure was all into the weird, you know, I always went against the grain. Like what everybody else believed in, I always just try to find a way to like, how does it over here make sense? And if it didn't, it didn't. But if it did, I was completely fine with standing 10 toes on something I believe in, even if I was by myself. Just because 100 people said that this is what it is, that doesn't make me all of a sudden want to agree with you. I had to be like, bro, as long as y'all can prove to me what you're saying, if you can't prove it to me, I don't care how many people agree with you. Prove it to me. If not, I'm standing right over here because I can prove to you how I feel and why I believe in what I believe in, why I believe in what I believe in. But if you can't prove it to me, then where are we going from here? We had an Oklahoma bombing, 9/11, and now this. I know, right? This is did not see this coming. But then when you really think about it, could you see the world right now with Charlie Kirk still alive? You know how many things would be different? I don't know if y'all ever thought of that. Like it would be like Charlie alive and a war happening seems very hard to believe. I'm sorry. It's hard to see both of those things because he would be against it. Or this would be the time where everybody would find out that he was a shill and he actually was not somebody that was this independent thinker that was, leading the youth. He was just somebody that was also a political figure that lies. So which one was it going to be if Charlie Kirk was alive? Was he going to stand 10 toes on what what his foundation is? And he would have opposed the war and he would have been on the list with the people that Trump called out, which that's my vote. I think he would have eventually, because due to the context that we have of him changing his mind on so many different things in his last days, I think he would have been somebody that would have been very vocal in opposing the war. And that ultimately would have got him kicked out of the club, just like Tucker and Megan and Candace. And I think he would have started speaking out similar to Tucker, Megan, and Candace. But it's also hard to see that because Tucker, Megan, and Candace was not taking that Izzy money. So because of him taking that Izzy money, he was in a different place. He was being controlled when he didn't even know he was controlled. So, I have these back and forths all day. It's complicated, but I have these back and forths all day of thinking like, if Charlie was alive right now, how would the world look? The war, Trump acting, would Trump turn on Charlie, which I think he already did ultimately, but would Charlie eventually run back to Candace and all of them, which he said in the message that he was bringing back Candace and all that. But was he gonna run back to, his roots and get with his old friends again and say, sorry guys for turning into a Republican shield? I don't know, but I definitely think about that though. Operation Northwoods was our own government that was going to kill our own. Yeah, it's happening. People do awful stuff for $20. They do. We need to turn up the heat and how, or my fault, we need to turn up the heat on how and what was used to off CK. Tyler Robinson is innocent. His life is on the line, something he didn't do. In fact, he didn't get pow at all. Let me look at this poll I put up. I want to see what y'all thinking. I put up a poll. Hopefully it's there. This is my first time ever using it. I want to see what y'all think. Hopefully it's up. Let me just make sure first. If I look stupid. Wait, did it go up? Bro, listen, I put the poll up there. I don't know where it's at. I don't know how to check it. Okay. I'm new to the poll, clearly. Look, this is the poll right here. This is the poll. Man, I don't even want it like that. Don't even worry about it. It's cool. But it was about Tyler Robinson. If y'all felt like he was, y'all can see the question. That way y'all can at least see it. I said, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty? Type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. I didn't put that. That's what it already had. Y'all was supposed to vote, but clearly I am a rookie to the live streaming world. But it says, is he 100% guilty? Like he did it, he pulled the trigger. 50%, like he didn't pull the trigger, but he was still involved. Or is he 100% innocent and he was framed? So I'll figure that poll stuff out next time. That's why he slept in a taller bed on his last night of his life. Yeah, it's tough. The context around him sleeping on the taller bed, because the taller bed is not that crazy. I've done it before. My son be flipping and rolling. It's flipping and rolling. Sometimes I'll just be like, bro, you got it, dog. I'm going to go over here in your bed and not be bothered by you. However, the context around Charlie sleeping in that bed doesn't make any sense. Because if he just got back from Asia and he wants to get a good night's sleep, why would he sleep with his children? I just gave you an example on what made me get out of the bed with my son to go sleep in his bed. Because he came and jumped in mine. So, the context of him sleeping in that bed doesn't make any sense. And then him waking up, leaving his wife and kids, but, his wife, to go on tour and then not kiss her goodbye. That was my last sip. So I definitely we gotta get through these questions for them hiccups come. Not give her a kiss goodbye when he's about to go on tour. That doesn't make any sense. He just grabs his necklace and whatever and wedding ring and leaves. That's very odd. You definitely would say goodbye if you're about to go on the road, but we already know that that's very strange. So many things that are strange. Charlie would do guest visits at my church. To see the same people betray him breaks my heart. It does. It really does. Sir Yap a lot. What's going on, Gracie? If we go back to the video frame for frame, we will see everything and clean up and how everyone was moving. I hope his lawyer's analyzing the videos of it. I'm telling you, he has the things that his team has, the defense has, is just undeniable. Undeniably not the shooter, not the person that pulled the trigger. But we'll see, I guess, with the prosecution holding on to all of this evidence. I think it's going to end up coming down to the judge at the end of the day. Like, what type of judge is this going to be? Is he on payroll? He or she on payroll? I think it was a he. Are they on payroll? We don't know. We've got to find out, because if they allow the prosecution team to continue going the way they, handling the way they're handling things right now, it's not going to look good. But we're going to see as the days continue to go by. I don't know when the next appearance is, but I know that they're approaching they need to figure out if it's going to be a 6-month delay or if the preliminary hearing is going to happen in May. So it's coming up. Love the yaps. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. I hope all the yappers know that it was his mic pack that unalived CK. It wasn't any pow pow, only a sound effect. His team and everyone else off him. It's sad to say, but yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm sure everybody else is on the same page. I haven't heard of like any type of new theory, but for the most part, I think everybody is on board with, I wouldn't say everybody, but the people that I've been talking to and all of the community, because we had these lives, the TikTok lives and all that stuff. I think we all are on the same page for sure that that mic was definitely the primary source of what happened. Now the whole, charge that happened that ended up coming over here, that's a lot to go through the specifics, but that mic for sure something that mic exploded. I mean, it's common sense too, to be honest, with the different black specks, the particles and stuff like that. Not particle, I said particles, the pieces that was all over the floor of the SUV that they ended up selling off, auctioning off. So yeah, that black mic definitely had something to do with it for sure. That person on the roof wasn't Tyler Robinson. It was a different person dressed totally different. I agree. It wasn't, I don't think it was him on that roof. And it's odd because who posted that? It was either Brandon Tatum, Graham, or somebody. And they were like witnesses. They said they have video of like Tyler Robinson being on the roof, like they can confirm it or something like that. And I don't know. I don't believe that. They got to show it. Show the proof or stop talking. Show it or shut up. Get some flipping allergy meds for crying out loud. I appreciate the support, Mama. I really do. The $5 donor, I appreciate the support, and I need to figure it out. I do. My one eye is typically red every couple of days. It'd probably be gone tomorrow, but it'd probably be back the next day. I'll figure something out. Because I don't know. I don't know, but I do appreciate it. Let's see. I was just scrolling up in the chat and I missed the Officer Tatum part in the mouth. Bro, y'all crack me up with the Tatum imitations, man. Coach Colin has started something. Let's see. Barron even knows that it was the Mike Peck. He doesn't believe he was Pow Pow either. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Barron, man. Barron's very handsome. Shout out to Barron, man. Barron, the voice of the people. Great addition to the podcast world. Yes, sir. Matt, I know I'm pretty late, so Matt's probably out of the chat now. But I would reach out to Matt again for everybody that was, wondering and asking about the collab. I know people actually have brought up the collab before for quite some time. And, y'all introduced me to Matt, and I've been following him ever since and listening to his live. So I'll reach out to him for sure, and we'll collab one day. Great dude. If Erica wasn't guilty or hiding something, then she'd be grateful for what Candace is doing. So the fact that she's mad tells me she's guilty of something. I agree with you. I thought that everybody else would too, to be honest. I think that once everything first went down, everybody was like, why are you mad at Candace? I feel like Candace should be somebody that's like, you should be very nice to and very thankful for that she's, going at all the people that are disrespecting your husband, when all those people was stepping up front and saying Charlie loved this, Charlie loved that. And Candace was like, bro, hold on, bro. Like, none of y'all was cool with Charlie. That's what Erica should have been doing. Stepping up like, bro, who is y'all? But she didn't do it. Instead, she got mad at Candace. Like, I mean, that was very telling. Then when everybody started calling Candace crazy and just completely going at Candace, this is when Candace first threw out there that Charlie was changing his mind on Izzy. And the whole internet was going at her. And Erica never said a word. I had to stop for a bit. Erica never said a word. And Candace was left no choice but to drop the screenshots. And she was telling the truth. And Erica never came out and said Candace was right. You know, Charlie was changing his mind on Izzy. Thank you, Candace. She never came to her defense. She let Candace get dragged on the internet. That was the first time I was like, that's odd. You don't gotta like nobody. You ain't gotta like Candace. You ain't gotta do none of that. But if Candace is speaking the truth on your husband and everybody else is lying on your husband, then it's your duty to come to the front of the class and say, Candace is right. Everybody, relax. Charlie was changing his views on Izzy. But she didn't do that. Instead, she let it happen. She let Candace get dragged through the mud. She forced Candace to show the screenshots. And then instead of the people that were calling Candace crazy, instead of them being like, dang, Candace was right, I'm sorry, they then started going at her saying, how dare you drop private messages versus, sir, you literally said that Charlie never said he was changing his mind. And you were in the group text when he did change his mind. How about we talk about that instead of Candace releasing private text messages? That's what Brandon Tatum did too. Brandon Tatum, instead of acknowledging the fact that Candace was telling the truth and all of these people were liars, he too was like, who are you to release private messages? That's so disrespectful to Charlie's legacy. Okay, bro. And then when Erica didn't come out and say anything at all about that, I was like, yeah, she's part of it. She's guilty. That was everything I needed to know. If you agree with anyone 100% of the time, it's a cult. I agree with you. I agree with you. You should never agree with anybody 100% of the time. And there's no point in, I mean, like, you don't need to full out disagree with somebody and then y'all get into some type of argument where you guys are no longer friends. And it's nothing about all of that. It's just the fact that you are your own person. You have your own perspectives and views on things. And there's no way that it 100% aligns with somebody 100% of the time. There's no way. There's going to be things where it's like, I would do this. You probably would do that. It's nothing wrong with the way you do things. I just do it different. That's fine. But when I see people come on here and defend Turning Point USA or defend Erica 100% of the time, aka Lisa knows, Gary, that's all I need to know. If you can't outright admit and just be honest and say, man, I can't agree with that. Yeah, that don't make any sense. I don't know why that person would do that. I don't know why this would, just be a normal human. When you can't do that, I'm like, yeah, something's off. Something's off with you. Hiccups or yap ups, man. Listen, I don't even want to laugh right now because I'm gonna end up eating my own joke or eating that joke. Because if I get the hiccups right now at 12:48, I'm gonna be pissed. I told y'all already, it lasts about 2 hours. Do the math. I'm not trying to get the hiccups right now. Learning true history, keeping it from us is wrong. And I want to know more about finding that tomb, and that's why we went to Iraq. Yeah, I mean, it's important to learn, the history that's going on. It's important to like go back and find out what they've been lying to us about all these years, our whole life. I forgot how old I was, but it wasn't that long ago. It had to been like 2, 3 years ago when I found out that like Christopher Columbus wasn't even a great dude, but yet we used to celebrate him, not like celebrate like party, but like, Columbus Day every day in elementary school. Whole time, Buddy was not a great person whatsoever. Matt in the chat, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. I'm glad to see Matt active. It's a dope thing seeing everybody come together. A home remedy is take a deep breath, hold for 10, 20 seconds, and then exhale slowly. Repeat until gone. I did that for 2 hours. That's the one thing that I continue to try to do. It's the deep breaths, and I'll be holding them off for a long time. Honestly, probably like 30 seconds. But I'll do that, and it doesn't work. I don't know what it is. Y'all can name off whatever y'all want, and I'll tell you if I've tried it or not. Because for years, my hiccups are severe. They always last hours. I don't know why, and they come easy too. If I drink the wrong drink, it's over with, and that's what happened. I drank sparkling water, bro. I took one sip, hiccup. I wasn't even done with the sip yet. Black Man Reeve jumped here from listening to you. Hey, that's dope. I'm glad everybody is. This is a beautiful thing. One big happy family. You will vote against Victor Marx. That's a weird guy. That's a weird guy. You got folks asking me about my eyes. Okay, my eye is perfectly fine. I have major allergies, and the only thing that happens with my allergies is a lot of sneezing and one eye that's red. Happens every time, every year. That's it. I don't have any other symptoms. Nothing else happens to me. But every time I will have go into some type of sneeze frenzy, and I will have one eye that will be pitch red. And all day people will be like, you got pink eye. I've been dealing with that since like elementary, middle school. You got pink eye. I'm like, bro, I don't know. It's always just one eye that's bloodshot. Erica got the nerve to think mothers wouldn't notice or feel how wrong she was after we cried for her and her babies like we're peasants. Yeah, I mean, how many people donated to her once everything first went down or after everything went down? I'm assuming everybody donated to her to say, hey, don't worry about work. Don't worry about anything ever again. Like, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I cannot believe you lost your husband in that way. And I cannot believe you still have your 2 daughters to care for. So here, and I'm assuming a lot of people donated to her for that. And even Tucker Carlson, I think he donated a couple million. Brandon Tatum donated a couple million. So she got up on stage a couple months ago and said, I'm the sole provider for my kids. Interesting choice of words. Ma'am, you don't have to work a day in your life ever again from other people's donations. Never. You have millions, hundreds of it. Well, let's just say 50, at least 50 off of donations to make sure your family is good, you and your family. And she got up there and said, I'm the sole provider of my kids. This is not easy. Listen, I'm sure it's not, as far as, dealing with 2 kids that got to understand the concept of Dad's gone, but miss me with the financial hardships. No, I don't have pink eye. Please stop asking me that. It's allergies, man. Don't make me pin the comment. We'd love to see this collab. We'll get to it. I will reach out to Matt. Either tonight or tomorrow. I'll reach out to him. Thank you, Mystic Gypsy. I see you were the one that connected us. So thank you very much. Got me over to YouTube finally. That's wonderful. I'm glad everybody's switching platforms. Not not completely. We still on TikTok, you know what I mean? But I'm just YouTube been showing a lot of love lately. We've been, we don't have to worry about the censorship. We've been able to talk freely. I've already been warned over here on TikTok twice for spreading misinformation. YouTube, I haven't been warned at all. We chopping it up right now. We can yap about whatever. I might have code words in there here and there, but like spreading misinformation, talking about a case that's happening. What are you talking about? I don't know. TikTok be on some BS. One day Karma's going to catch back with her. I cannot imagine what will be like. Yeah, I mean, I'm not somebody that like believes in karma personally, but I do believe in like, what you put out into the world is what you're gonna get back for sure. So like I wouldn't say like some type of entity is going to haunt her, but I'm like, yeah, if you cheat the system, you're gonna reap what you sow. Like if you want to call that karma, consider that karma, but sure. But like, yeah, if you want to cheat the system, if you want to prey on people's downfall to elevate yourself, like, yeah, what you put out in the world, you will get back. It's gonna spin the block. Absolutely. Just like in this situation right now, she wanted to be famous so bad. So she cut corners. She connected with some evil people. She surrounded herself with some crazy individuals. She preyed on people's downfall. She messed up people's connections to make sure that she somehow gets elevated within all of that. She got in the way. And it's like, okay, well, welcome to the big leagues. Now you're famous. Probably not how you imagine, but it is what you wanted, right? Welcome to the big leagues. You're famous now. Some people may call that karma. So Mikey walked away for our sins without calling 911. Man, Mikey McCoy. He is the one person that stays silent, though. I give Mikey that. Mikey does not say much. China just said they have the files and threatening Trump to release everyone, or China will. Yeah, I hope they do. Shoot. Come on with it, China. And while you at it, snag TikTok back. Well, remember, she said she had never watched the video of what happened to Charlie, but yet she had no problem walking into the hospital saying, let me see what they did to my husband. I know, it's all performative. It's all performative. You're 100%. 100% right. What's the latest on the Candace Larry drama? I haven't been on X all day. It is crazy. The last thing I saw was it said LeBron taking over. The last thing I saw was Larry saying, God hates you. She said something crazy. I don't even want to say the whole thing because I feel like that's like, I don't want to put that out there. But she said, she said a lot of very, 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 very hateful things towards Candace. That was the last thing I saw. I don't even really get into all that because I'm like, bro, this lady does not need any publicity. She doesn't even need to feel important. So I don't even talk about her that much for real. She's a crazy head case. But I see it. I see everything that she tweets because it is interesting, somewhat entertaining watching her. Charlie was loyal. It would have been hard for him to publicly go against Trump, no matter how bad it got. The Easter post might have pushed him over the edge, though. I agree. I think that, this is the tough part about Charlie that a lot of people tend to avoid talking about is I think that Charlie was so deep into Trump's pockets that, yeah, I think he would be somebody that he would lie to the public to save face. And like Tyler Boyer said, like Mike McCoy said, like Andrew Kovach said, he would lie to the public. Essentially, that's what it is. He would lie to the public to save face, to get everybody comfortable because Charlie Kirk said everything's okay. But then behind closed doors, he would be pissed. And it sucks thinking about that because the OG Charlie Kirk wasn't like that. He spoke his mind. But when he got too close to Trump, he just turned into another politician. So I think he would have defended Trump for a very long time until he couldn't no more. And I agree. It would have pushed him over the edge with that Easter post. It would have pushed him over the edge with Trump disrespecting Tucker Carlson, Candace, and Megyn Kelly. 3 people that he talked to before he died. Like, as in Megyn Kelly. He talked to Megyn Kelly a month before he died on the podcast. And him and Megyn Kelly was bonding over the fact that they receive all these hateful messages from their donors or Charlie's donors. And Megyn gets hateful messages in general, but it's from the pro country over there. And Charlie was expressing his frustration. So he was talking to Megyn Kelly before he died. He refused to deplatform Tucker Carlson. He refused. He always was a friend and a fan of Tucker Carlson. He always wanted Tucker Carlson to speak on his platform. So he refused to do that. And then on top of that, in his last couple of messages leading up to his death day, he said he was going to bring Candace back. So, yeah, I think that's a tough one. They don't respond to anything because they know whoever took their boss out will most certainly take them out. I mean, I agree. I definitely think that there is, I think Erica's being controlled in a way. I think Andrew Kovach knows too much. So yeah, there is a big boss of all of this. But hey, still guilty. So I don't really feel bad. Because I feel like people like Blake Neff, he didn't have no. Well, was Blake Neff there? No, he was there. I mean, maybe Blake Neff. I just feel like people like Blake Neff, I don't think he knew what was going to happen that day. So I would have distanced myself if I was Blake Neff just to figure out what was going on. It's not a donation. It's for allergy meds. I'm gonna get right. I know it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I'm gonna fix it. I gotta get probably some type of eye drop or something. Lisa don't know nothing. She don't. I usually only get 2 to 3 hiccups and then they stop. 2 to 3 and they stop? What? Yeah, right. I couldn't imagine 2 hours. Yes, 2 hours. It might have been. It was actually 3. They came at my son went to sleep at 8. They came at 7:30, and I had to stall the show until 10:40. So that was 3 hours of having the hiccups. I'm embarrassed just thinking of behaving that way. How could she ever show her face in the public after duping people like that? That's insane. I know. I mean, that's why people don't want to see her in public no more. Maybe if she do a pep rally for all the white mailmen, if she do a pep rally for that, boy, she'll have the whole place jumping. Yes, yes, I'm very behind, very behind, but I'm catching up. I'm catching up. I'm almost caught up. Yes, yes. I was only 30 minutes late today. Only 30 minutes late today. And I had a valid reason. Valid reason this time. Last time, I told y'all already. Last time I fell asleep on accident. And then I woke up. I woke up and realized that yeah, I was late. This time I just had the hiccups and I could not start the show with the hiccups. But welcome, Blindly Gab. You were the person that introduced me to scheduling my live stream. So I thank you every single day. So I had no idea. Blake seemed naive to this. I think he was left out of it all. Yeah, I think so too. I think and you could tell in the early days when they was having these conversations, when they were sitting at, you know, the desk of the Charlie Kirk show, without Charlie Kirk on the show, Blake Neff really seemed confused. Like he really wanted to say something. He was really questioning things. But he just, I don't know. He went with the flow. He'd been brainwashed by TBUSA. I don't feel bad because I found out who Blake Neff, who he really is, based off of what he was fired for in the past. And I don't feel bad for Blake Neff, bro. That dude is, yeah. Blake better learn to shut up on X before he finds himself in contempt of the gag order. I mean, shoot, I love when Blake talks. I hope he continues to talk. I just hope he speaks on important things, like speak on the AI audio of Charlie appointing Erica. Speak on that. Speak on the grandfather saying a 30-06 does not do that because that used to be my gun. Like, speak on stuff like that. Blake Neff come out of nowhere and be speaking on some dumb stuff. Yeah, Blake Neff was fired for saying some racist comments. Pull up the articles. I don't want to. I can pull it up for y'all right quick. Since we about to be towards, we only got 2 more comments to go. Blake Neffy. Look, I already got it in my Google search. Blake Neff comments that got him fired. This is what Blake don't want y'all to know. Okay, here we go. Just this week, the writer Blake Neff responded to a thread started by another user in 2018 with the subject line, "Would you let a jet black Congo N-word hard R do LASIK eye surgery on you for 50% off?" Blake Neff wrote, I wouldn't get LASIK eye. Bro, all of these ads popping up, messing up my dang thing. I don't need to pay no money to read an article. Come on, bro. I wouldn't get LASIK eye surgery from an Asian for free. So no. On June 5th, Blake Neff said, Black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down. Black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down. On June 24th, Blake Neff commented, honestly, given how tired Black people always claim to be, maybe the real crisis is their lack of sleep. It's Blake Neff. On June 26th, Blake Neff said, the only people who care about changing the name of the NFL Washington Redskins are white liberals and their university educated pets. Yeah. So it's Blake Neff for you. It's the reason they don't want you to know that about him. That man said, honestly, given how tired Black people always claim to be, maybe the real crisis is their lack of sleep. Wow. Black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, Blake Neff is an interesting individual. He can't talk too much because his past gonna come up. You barely get hiccups. I'm extremely jealous. I cannot believe you commented on my video to make me jealous of you like that. That's crazy. They left Blake out of the plans till they needed to cover up. I agree. And now Blake is fully on board. Always hit notify me, but I'm knocked out by the time you're on. Need to set a new sleep schedule because this is my calm zone to decompress today's wild ish. Yeah, I try I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a method, a time frame that works for everyone. Because I'm aware the starting at 10:15, between 10 and 10:30, I'm aware that that's very late. Especially if we go the whole episode, which is now 1:15 in the morning, 1:12 in the morning. So I am aware that it is very late. I'm trying to figure out a system because, we got Candace, you got Baron. Baron sometimes goes long, and sometimes I got to watch his episodes to see if anything, you know what I mean? So Tuesday, Baron doesn't have an episode. So I'm still trying to figure it out. Going with the flow. Every day I am learning something new. And, the Yapper community, I appreciate y'all a lot because y'all help me with a lot of this stuff. So, I'm open to different ideas. I've received some constructive criticism on different lives. I've switched some stuff around. So we a community here. I just want to make sure that I'm providing, everything that I can give. So we'll figure something out because 10:30 is late. However, my son is asleep at 8, so I can't do nothing before that. Not right now, at least. I ain't got no teenagers. I'm not that old. I ain't even got no elementary schoolers yet. Now, when they get to that age, they're very, independent. So soon, bro, I seen this too. What video of Tyler Robinson taking a shot that killed Charlie that Brandon Tatum says exists? Brandon is drinking all the Kool-Aid. I saw that too. I'm just show the video or shut up. Especially people like Brandon Tatum. I'm like, bro, you definitely haven't seen the video. So for you to even be like, there's a video, come on, bro. Just stop. I don't know. I gave Brandon Tatum a lot of attention tonight, so I don't even want to go on another rant about him. Blake using the hard R has my jaw on the floor. So at first I thought Blake was the hard R sayer, but he wasn't. However, he's talking to somebody that's saying a hard R. The hard R was whoever Blake was talking to. That person said, "Would you let a jet black?" Bro, a jet black, like, that is a crazy description for somebody that is extremely dark. A jet black Congo N-word hard R. That's crazy. And then Blake Neff said to that, I wouldn't get, eye surgery from an Asian for free. So, like, yeah, that's crazy still. Blake Lego head Neff. What the F, Blake? So freaking nasty. Yeah. You tune out when Baron's super chat start. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Sometimes I listen to a couple. Most of the time I skip it. So I'm the same way. What's my dog doing, bro? Oh yeah, that's actually some sad news for everybody that has met Mr. Shalami. He's Mr. Shalami. I'm giving him away. So in the next couple weeks, he's 5 years old. Had him for 5 years, but I'm surrendering him. So sad times are coming for me. It's hard. My bad. It's hard watching Baron on the day schedule. Definitely Saturdays earlier if possible. It's an empty pocket day if you have an audience at the right time, or like a 9:15 latest because your girl like 85. Yeah. I'm gonna keep on brainstorming and plotting. See what works best. Start just testing some stuff out. So I agree though. 10 plus is definitely late for sure. I agree. That's crazy. Oh no, Mr. Shalami. I know, right? Mr. Shalami has to go away and get adopted by another family one day. So he lived a great life. And but it'll be sad, and hopefully everything will work out. But yeah, he gotta hit the road. But that was the last one. That was I enjoyed that. That was like, I hate to sound like Baron, but it really is the best part. I love yapping and interacting with my yapper community. But I appreciate y'all for joining, and I appreciate y'all for watching the show. 2 hours and 35 minutes in, and some of y'all have been listening from the very beginning. So I do appreciate y'all. And make sure everybody hits the like button. I don't even know how many we at right now. I'm gonna be checking, but make sure you hit the like button before you go. Make sure if you're new, hit the sub button. We on a road to 21K. I'm sorry. We on a road to 21K now. And I appreciate all the support along the way. And I would definitely see y'all again sometime this week, because again, my schedule is not set with lives and stuff like that. I try to schedule them hours ahead of time, like on YouTube. So turn your notifications on so you can get that YouTube live notification, because I have been pretty consistent with that, at least planning it earlier in the day. That way you know what's going to happen at night. So turn your notifications on, and because there will be another live sometime this week. Not tomorrow. If y'all know me, I hoop on Wednesday nights, so I'll be out late Wednesday nights. So maybe Thursday. I'm not getting hiccups. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, one or the other. Just turn the notifications on and you're going to see. But I appreciate everybody, and y'all have a great night.